Hey everybody, hope you guys are all having a great day. Today we are doing another student live interview. We're here today with Jacob. So once he joins, I will invite him onto the live with me. But in the meantime, the full version of our app is launched today. So that's super exciting. It's got a bunch of cool new features. It's got a new design. It looks really cool. I love it. Um, but yeah, that's out today, so make sure you go in and download it. Hey, how are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come on here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so to start off, do you want to just give a little background information about yourself, like where you're from, what sport you play, what school you go to, how you got into the sport you play?
Yeah, for sure. I'm Jacob Gruber. I'm originally from Fishers, Indiana. I played lacrosse and soccer all throughout high school. Then I eventually played soccer in college at Indiana University. I played there for 3.5 years, and I've recently grad transferred to Stetson University. So at Stetson University, I'm a goalkeeper here, and I kind of decided to transfer due to COVID reasons, due to kind of graduating, wanting a different challenge. There's a lot going into it, and it's been fantastic down here. It also helps me escape the cold weather, which is always Stetson University's in Florida, so
Oh,
it's
yeah,
always
yeah.
nice to get out of the cold weather. So
Mhm.
that was kind of the background of how I am where I'm at now.
Yeah, totally understand the cold weather thing. I'm up in Boston and it was absolutely freezing today. Um, so how did you know that you wanted to play in college?
It was always a dream of mine ever since I was younger. My dad played lacrosse in college, played at Ohio State, so sports have always been a really big part of my life. I think it kind of like really shaped who I was, but it was always a struggle. Sometimes I wanted to, sometimes I didn't. I was never really sold on it, but there was times when I was without sports that I realized how much I missed it. So it was more on being the end of I really missed it, and that's when you kind of like find that it's a passion of yours.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, definitely like that, like playing a sport that you love really, and they have such a connection with is really, really important. And I'm glad that you were able to do that more in college. How was your recruitment process, like both for undergrad and transferring to playing grad school?
Both were interesting. So for undergrad at IU, obviously I'm an Indiana native, and I played for the academy there, which is Indiana Fire Academy. So that obviously had a lot of connections to Indiana University. So growing up, I mentioned I also played lacrosse, and I had Division One offers for lacrosse as well. But Indiana soccer had kind of like surrounded my entire life. It's really a family atmosphere. So even from my club coaches to like my like just family friends, they have all been in that Indiana soccer family. So a lot of like what I was thinking was I didn't want to play for anybody besides them in the beginning. That was the main goal. So obviously with a lot of connections there, and obviously them being local and us being we were a very good side my senior year. We were the ninth best team in the nation. We were very good. So we kind of like went through a process in which they knew us, they trusted the people that were around me, so therefore they got trust in me, and that's kind of where I ended up at Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I decided to grad transfer, they were very, very helpful. They were really helpful. They were really excited for me to go on to this new challenge. So I kind of like went through the academic side and just through the like the transfer people that are like there. They were very, very helpful. Let me continue practicing. Never blinked an eye. Nothing changed. Extremely helpful. And from there, it kind of was a mismatch. There was a lot of coaches reaching out because it's a top level program, so it was very nice to see that. But after talking with Coach Rakowski, he's the head coach here, and a lot of the coaching staff, talking to some of the players, it really felt like a good fit. There's a ton of talent. The guys are awesome. The coaching staff's fantastic. So I really saw a good future here.
Yeah, no, those are all incredibly important things. Like having the right connections is really important, and like making sure that you're also like keeping them on like your academics as well. They're all incredibly important when it comes to your recruitment process. So other than those things, like was there anything specific that you were looking for like within the program, like when it came to like deciding what's like that you wanted to go to Indiana University and Stetson?
Yeah, it's always a family atmosphere. Like I said, it's always those connections because a lot of the recruitment process is sure there's a standard of where how you can play, but it's also how you're going to fit into the team. You
Yeah.
know, it's a team sport. So a lot of that was like the family atmosphere, how I'm going to get along with other people, how are those people going to perceive myself. So that
Hmm.
was always the biggest aspect for myself and how I would go about it.
What's your favorite thing about being a student athlete?
Ooh. Um, Favorite thing, I guess, is I get to wake up every single day and continue just doing what I love. I think that's pretty awesome. It kind of like it gives you like a passion and a drive, and I think people find it pretty cool. So you get to like talk to them and always be like surrounded by like people who are there to support you, and feeling that support's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know that like waking up and doing what you love and like looking forward to what you're doing every day is like the best feeling in the world. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing right that beats like doing what you care about the most and doing what you're passionate about. And yeah, that's what a lot of student athletes fortunately get to do while they're in college. Not only like studying what they enjoy, but also like getting on that practice field, getting on that field and competing. It definitely keeps like your motivation high, allows you to like set goals and just keeps you like on your toes all the time and have something to look forward to every day. So that's definitely like something really important. But what's on the opposite side of things? What's the most challenging part about being a student athlete, and how do you overcome those challenges?
A lot of the challenges I'd say are sometimes pressure. There's a lot of pressure to perform every single day, and obviously in life, no matter what you're really going to do, is pressure is going to be surrounding you. You want to be performing at the top level, so pressure really is like coming from all sides. You want to perform for your family, for your friends. You want to like really succeed, but the pressure isn't like necessarily a terrible thing. It really helps us develop as human beings. It helps us develop as people and understand that we can reach out to others for help. We can find it in like strength internally. We can find strength externally. So I think that's definitely where the difficulties lie, but that's also kind of like how it helps you grow as a person.
Yeah, no, like that pressure definitely like keeps you motivated and like makes you want to set goals and like improve. But the pressure can be a lot. It can be stressful, especially playing at like a high level program like you were at Indiana University and all that. But yeah, so that could definitely be something tricky to maneuver. Um, so moving into COVID, which has had a huge impact on everybody's lives, did it impact how did it impact your season this year?
Obviously, for most of the soccer world, besides the ACC, everybody was postponed until this year. So by this year, I mean 2021. So we're all playing spring games right now. And here down in Stetson, we've already had 2 games canceled due to COVID. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult because even with contact tracing, you want to be doing contact practices. You want to be close to each other in the locker room. And there's all the right precautions are being taken. I've seen the right precautions being taken across the board, whether it's with the health staff at both schools, the trainers, the coaches. There's always masks. There's always groups that are going into the locker room, staggering, different weight room partners, different keeping everything like really, really best in our best intentions and keeping everybody safe. But as we've all are aware, I mean, you can go to the grocery store and just find yourself having. So one person getting it can really contact trace down to like your group of like 8 people that they really try to keep you in to like limit the spread for that. So I mean, we've found some key players being out for games even when we've had the games, just because they've gotten contact traced from a family member or something like that. So it's been obviously very difficult, but we're doing all the tests all the time, taking all the right precautions, and it's really just it's showing people that it's an extra sacrifice, and obviously everybody's experiencing challenges, so it's nothing new.
Yeah, yeah, I know like so many schools, especially now that some colleges are starting to play sports again. There's a lot of thought that goes into this kind of thing, making these kinds of decisions to like have sports on the field again and be competitive. But yeah, like making sure that everybody like you're staying safe both during practice and just like in your regular life in general is so important to make sure that these games happen because they can get canceled and like again one case can lead to so much spreading, so you have to be really careful. But it's good that your school is putting in so much effort to keep you guys safe and yeah, just prevent spreading as much as possible. Like that's really great. And for your upcoming season, do you have a goal for yourself as an athlete?
Goal for my athlete, like myself, is always to win a trophy. At least how I've always been taught and what I've really been embedded is, personal goals and maybe any individual accolades always don't mean anything if you're not lifting a trophy with your team at the end of the year. It always feels better when everybody else around you is we're all celebrating at once. You could be the best player in the country, but if you're not winning as a team, where's the value in that? So, I mean, our
Yeah.
our individual goal right now, especially with like difficulties in COVID, is we want to win our conference, which is the ASUN. So our current goal is to win the ASUN tournament, which will be happening starting the first week of April. Every single team makes it to kind of give everybody a fair chance in that, due to COVID in every single aspect. And I think it's going to be you have to win 3 games. Obviously, there's a quarterfinal, semifinal, final, and it's going to be difficult because there's more teams than usual, but it's going to be an exciting challenge. So I think that's the goal our team has set, and that's the goal I've set as well.
Yeah. No, I think it's really important because like individual goals can give you that motivation to like better yourself as an athlete, and that I think is important, but like the ultimate goal should be to raise the trophy and to get your team to that level. So I think like, yeah, definitely like distinguishing those two things and like the meaning of it and like kind of the legacy that it leaves is really important. And I think you make a great point about that. And finally, do you have any advice for student athletes like in high school that are looking to get recruited now with the pandemic who might not have the chance to compete this year? Just with COVID, with everything, it's just throwing everything off. So do you have any advice for those student athletes right now?
Yeah, of course. The biggest advice is, like you've mentioned earlier, is academics. But I mean, all around, people, you get recruited based on you as a person. A lot of my recruiting is your play can speak for itself, but you speak louder. So as when you're going through the process, if you're a good person to everybody around you, you never know where there's connections. Sports, especially in your community, they reach far. So you may be talking to a grandparent, a parent, and they may know somebody and just mention your name. And then all of a sudden the coach is like, oh, I've heard he's a good kid. I'm going to give him a second look, or I'm going to give him that first look. So a lot of it just stems to you being as a person, and it starts in your everyday life. So I think as long as you're really reaching out and trying to bring a good energy to everything that you do, it will pay dividends in the future.
Yeah, like every time I've asked this question, like it's always led to that connections aspect. And connections, especially nowadays, whether it's virtual, in person, are so important. And maintaining those connections, because again, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to know who. And especially within sports, like it's really like it's super easy to try to like to find those connections that you never knew were there.
Uh-huh.
And it's really important to like try to take advantage of that. And especially right now with the pandemic, when we're all at home, we have the time to sit down and write emails to coaches and like keep up that relationship. Yeah, I think that's all really important, and the connections are so important. So those were all my questions. Did you have anything that you wanted to say before we end things?
No, I've been watching a lot of these interviews as like they come up weekly and stuff, and they're pretty awesome. So thank you for having me on.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and have a great season.
Thanks, you too.
Bye.
Bye.